Hello, I'm Charlie Lang, your CEO coach, and today I'm going to talk about how to overcome silo mentality. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. And if you like this video, hit the like button at the end. And if you don't, then don't. Recently, I talked to Greta, the Asia CEO of a garment manufacturer. And she shared with me that she has the feeling that her team is not always as productive and efficient as it could be. And I said, what evidence do you have for that? And she said, I don't have really evidence. It's just a kind of gut feel. At the same time, I noticed that they really operate more like in silos. I mean, these are all great people. Every single one of them is great. I would not want to replace any of them. And yet, when it comes to working together, yes, they do when it's necessary, but that's about it. And so I understand this is actually a quite common case. In fact, when I started to do team coaching back in 2010, I expected that I would get to work mostly with kind of dysfunctional teams. It turned out that only about 30% of the clients I've been working with since then were really dysfunctional, where there were real conflicts and people hated each other and things like that. But about 50% of our cases were actually cases where the leadership team overall was okay with each other, and yet they were not really working as a team. They were more like operating in silos. The other 20% were other cases where maybe a new leader came in or something else. So why do these cases exist so often? And when I worked with Greta's team, we decided that we first would do some assessment. The assessment typically is interview with each team member, maybe a psychometric like Harrison assessment. Sometimes we do also feedback-based questionnaires, and occasionally we also do shadowing, meaning observing the team in real-life situations, like for example a team meeting. And so when I did the interviews, I talked to Andy, a COO of the company. Andy said to me, honestly, Charlie, I don't know why we are doing this. Why do we need team coaching? I know what I'm doing. I'm a really competent COO, I believe. My results are good. And I don't need other people messing around with my function. Nobody knows better than me what needs to be done. And so I don't think this team coaching is going to be useful. And while I can clearly understand why he would think that, and it kind of makes logical sense, my experience though shows that every time I worked with the team and they became more working like a team, a few really positive things happened. Number one, they tended to become more innovative. They got a lot more new ideas how to do things differently. Secondly, they became actually more productive. They actually made better decisions because maybe another team member acted as a devil's advocate or things like that. And overall, the teams usually enjoy working together even more than before the team coaching. So how does team coaching really work? I mentioned already the assessment. That's usually the first phase to really work out what needs to improve. Is it more productivity factors, like for example, decision making, or is it more positivity factors, maybe trust levels, or maybe there's some diversity issues or whatever it might be. And then once we identified what really needs to happen, then we design a team coaching workshop, typically a full day or 2 half days, or sometimes 3 half days, to work out these different topics. And we usually leverage a number of tools that are quite innovative, but that draw things out much more than if we would just sit around the table talking. And these tools quite often lead to some kind of commitment that individuals and the team makes. And these commitments are then typically followed up 4 to 6 weeks later to see, did they actually happen? What challenges might they have faced so we can address those? But also, what were some of the positive changes that already happened that kind of further energizes the process? So the question is, how do you make sure that your team doesn't operate in silos, but really works together? Share your comments in the comment section, and I'm really curious what you have to say.